I wasn't supposed to see it. It was a pure accident. One of those moments you wish you could rewind, just so you wouldn't have to carry the weight of what you found. It was Saturday morning. My wife, Emily, had left her phone on the kitchen counter while she took a shower. It buzzed once. Then again. Then again. I ignored it at first. I always did. We trusted each other. Or at least I thought we did. But when I reached for the phone to silence it, the screen lit up. The name that appeared made my chest tighten like a vice. Mark, old-time smiling face with smiling eyes. Her ex. Froze. A rush of old insecurity surged through me. Memories of how she'd once told me Mark was just a chapter long closed. I wanted to believe that. I had believed that. I shouldn't have opened the message. But I did. It wasn't even something explicit at first. Just a thread of familiarity that cut too deep. Mark. Remember that weekend in the cabin? God, I still can't listen to that song without thinking of you. Emily. Haha, don't remind me. You always played it too loud. Mark. You loved it though. You said it felt like our song. Emily. Maybe it still does, sometimes. My stomach dropped. Maybe it still does. The words stared back at me, innocent on the surface, but loaded with history. With emotion. With something I thought was long dead. I scrolled up, my hands trembling. The earlier messages were harmless. Catching up, talking about mutual friends. But the tone had changed over the past few weeks. Mark. You ever think about us? About how things ended? Emily. Sometimes. We were young. Stupid. Maybe it wasn't all bad. Mark. Not bad at all. Especially the nights. Emily. Stop grinning, face with sweat. Mark. You smiled when I said that. Emily. Maybe. That was the moment my chest caved in. I dropped the phone onto the counter like it had burned me. I stood there, numb, the sound of running water echoing from the bathroom. My wife, my Emily, was humming softly behind that door, completely unaware that the life we had built in 7 years had just cracked open. When she came out, wrapped in a towel, smiling at me like nothing had happened, I couldn't even look at her the same way. Morning, she said, running a hand through her damp hair. You okay? You look pale. Yeah, I lied. Didn't sleep much. She poured herself coffee and sat at the table, scrolling through her phone. I waited for her face to change, to show even a flicker of guilt, but she just sipped and smiled, like she wasn't texting her ex behind my back. My heart pounded with every second that passed. I wanted to confront her right there, to demand an explanation, but something inside me stopped. I wanted to see who she was when she thought I didn't know. So I stayed silent. Over the next few days I watched. Her habits, her expressions, the way she hid her phone when a message came through. At dinner, she'd laugh at something, a tiny smirk tugging her lips as she looked at her screen before flipping it face down. When I asked, "Who's that?" she'd say, "Just Lisa from work." But Lisa didn't make her blush. Lisa didn't make her bite her lip and smile to herself. I started sleeping less. Every time she turned away from me in bed, I imagined Mark's name lighting up her phone. Every "good night, love you" sounded like a line rehearsed for peacekeeping. And yet, I still couldn't bring myself to confront her. Because the moment I said it out loud, it would become real. A week later, she told me she had to stay late at work. That phrase, "stay late," had become a red flag in my mind, the kind of lie people tell right before they ruin you. I decided to check. I drove to her office that evening, parking across the street. The building was dark. The only light came from the cleaning crew inside. Her car wasn't there. Called her. She didn't answer. Called again. Straight to voicemail. An hour later she came home, her hair a bit messier than usual, perfume stronger than normal. "Long night?" Yes. "Yeah," she said too quickly. "So much paperwork. I'm exhausted." She kissed me lightly on the cheek and disappeared into the shower again. And I just stood there, staring at the closed door, the lie echoing in my mind like a whisper I couldn't unhear. That night, while she slept, I opened her phone again. I wish I hadn't. "Mark. You smelled amazing tonight. Still the same perfume. Emily. You noticed grinning face with sweat. Mark. How could I not? You always knew how to drive me crazy. Emily. Stop, Mark. I can't, this isn't right. Mark. Then why did you come? Emily. I don't know. I just wanted to see you. My heart shattered in silence. I read the words over and over, hoping somehow they'd rearrange into something else, something innocent. But no matter how I looked at it, the truth was the same. She had gone to see him. She had lied. The next morning I made breakfast like nothing happened. She smiled, joked, asked if I wanted to watch something after work. She was playing the role so perfectly it made me sick. Emily, I said softly, setting down my coffee. She looked up cheerful. Yeah. How was work last night? She froze for half a second. It was quick, barely noticeable, but I saw it. Then she smiled. Busy, why? I stared into her eyes, searching for the woman I thought I knew. I drove by your office, I said. You weren't there. Her face paled. The smile slipped. You what? I needed to see you, I said quietly. To surprise you. But you weren't there. So tell me, where were you, Emily? Her lips parted, but no words came. Tears welled in her eyes, but they didn't fall. She just stared at me, caught between guilt and fear. Please, I whispered. Don't lie again. She broke. I only went to talk to him. That's all. I needed closure, that's all it was. Closure, I said, my voice shaking. You lied. You hid messages. You went behind my back. That's not closure, Emily, that's betrayal. She reached for me, but I stepped back. I didn't sleep with him, she said quickly. I swear to you I didn't. I don't even know if I care anymore, I said. 'Cause the moment you hid it, you killed the trust. And without that, what are we? That night, she slept in the guest room. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence that had replaced everything we used to be. In the morning, she tried to talk. She cried. She apologized. Said she didn't know why she did it. That she missed who she was before marriage. That Mark was a ghost from a past she thought she'd buried. Maybe she was telling the truth. Maybe she wasn't. But the thing about betrayal is, it doesn't end with forgiveness. It lingers. It builds a wall between two people that no words can tear down. A month later I moved out. No shouting. No chaos. Just a quiet decision, signed and sealed with exhaustion. She begged me to stay. She said she made a mistake, that she'd blocked Mark, that she wanted to rebuild. But every time I looked at her, all I saw were those words on the screen. Maybe it still does. Sometimes late at night I replay everything in my head. The laughter, the mornings, the quiet comfort we once had. And then that message, those few words that broke everything. People think betrayal is about infidelity, but it's not. It's about choice. About looking at the person who trusts you the most, and choosing to hurt them anyway. I still love her, maybe a part of me always will. But love without trust is like trying to breathe underwater. You can survive for a few seconds, maybe even convince yourself you're okay. But eventually you drown. And I was already sinking the moment I opened that message.